Welcome back, everybody. My name is Gammatrap, one word, and in this video we're going to be taking a clip of a stream, and putting it into a vertical form factor for your phone, for something like TikTok or Instagram stories. This is sort of a continuation from the video that I did recently about how to change landscape videos into vertical or portrait for Instagram or TikTok or something like that. And there was two ways in that video, which is where you either expand the media and then cut off the sides, or you rotate the media, which isn't really the most well-liked way to go about it. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be keeping the orientation upright. So we're not going to be doing any rotating. You can if you want to, of course. So what we're going to be doing is a technique called stacking, where we take pieces of the video and put them on top of one another. And it looks kind of like this. And you can tell that it's literally just you take the webcam or the face cam and you put it on top of the gameplay. Depending on the game, most first-person shooters have a specific area that you focus on in order to, aim correctly. So we're going to be focusing on that, but with the power of video editing, you could pretty much make this gameplay section focus anywhere you'd want, and we're going to get into that pretty soon. So before we get started, if you find any of this information useful, helpful, or entertaining, please feel free to like it and subscribe for more tutorials. So let's get right into this. Now we're going to be using Premiere, and you can use any video editing software you like as long as you have the ability to stack multiple layers and cut and edit and change some audio. If you can do that in whatever video editing program you got, you could do this. So after we've moved our clip into Premiere, we're just going to drag it onto the timeline, and it's going to populate a composition for us on the preview up here. And we're going to be messing with this in a second, but for now, this is our clip.
We'll go this way first.
Oh, dude, I got a freaking...
It's just a moment from one of my streams. You can see my current cam box is kind of covering a little bit of that cam box, but we'll change that in a second. But I've got my face cam here, just like this, and I've got the stream. So our plan here is to stack this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to duplicate the video.
Oh my god.
Now it looks nothing, you don't see any difference right now because the top layer is the same as the bottom layer. So if we turn that off, it looks completely identical because they're perfectly lined up. But now that we've got that out of the way, we're going to go to Sequence and Sequence Settings. Now this currently is 1920 by 1080, which is your classic kind of landscape format. We're just going to swap those. So we're going to change this to 1080, and then this one's going to be 1920. And it's going to give us a warning. So this is what it looks like now. The sequence has been adjusted to a 1080 by 1920, or a vertical form factor. So now we can get into the stacking. We won't have to change the scale and proportions of these clips too much, but we will eventually. But right now we're just going to make sure we get everything the way we like it. So the top clip is going to be our face cam. So we're going to go to Effect, and we're just going to find that real quick. So move it over, and for us, we're going to rest it somewhere on top. Now, this is going to be a bit of an eyeball thing, so don't look at these numbers specifically, mine, because your face cam will probably have a different, size or a different shape. And we're just going to scale it. We're going to find just the right sweet spot that we want it at. So that's pretty fine. Now, you'll notice there's still a chunk of the video below my face cam, right? So if you play this, you'll see there's a big old line here. And the original part that I blew up, the same layer as my face cam, it's really in the way. So the way we get about fixing that is masking. So in Premiere, again, you have to make sure that you can mask or cut things away in whatever video software you use. But for Premiere, we're just going to click this square button, and it's going to populate a random mask. Don't worry, it's right here. And we're just going to drag it. And this essentially is like a window. We create a window to where we can see, and you don't really have to worry too much about like how this looks. Just try and make sure it's as clean as you can make it. Find the bottom of this, just like that. And for a little cleaner look, you can try adding a little bit of feathering if there isn't some already. This one already has 10 feathering. Now feathering is just, it takes the edges and kind of blurs them and blends them together a little better. So now if we play this, you can see that that giant chunk below my webcam is gone. But now we got to fix up the lower layer. So we're going to select that, and now we get to play around with that. And again, this is going to be a little different for everybody. But the cool thing is, with first-person shooters or third-person shooters, it almost always stays about centered. So the reticle or the crosshair is usually almost always right in the middle, right where you're looking for. So you just got to scale up a bit and just kind of scroll up and down if you like. Just play around, find the perfect scale and size and try and make sure your webcam's out of the way, but you don't want to cut away too much. And again, you don't have to worry too much about going left or right with first-person shooters. So let's see what we've got so far. So you see, right in the middle is where my crosshair is. And now let's unmute this and let's see how well this works out.
We'll go this way
Oh,
first.
dude, I got a freaking. Oh my god.
Let's do this.
Oh. And this reminds me of D1 raids.
We did it.
And so this is stacking to where you now have your face cam still in view and you see the action. And again, this is a first-person shooter, so right in the middle is where we like to be. But not all games that you stream are going to be first-person shooters. So you can, it's not crazy to think that you would like to move the camera around as much as you'd like. And this is video editing. So take a little extra time, if you'd like, to just find the key points, the really important parts. Now for us, the key part is right on the middle because I was aiming at the same thing. But if you'd like, you could also find a spot and do a little extra, just a little bit. So we're just gonna grab that spot and select this clip. And what I'm thinking is we're going to track my buddy here as he blasts through this poor enemy. There we go. And right now what I'm doing is just keyframing. This is just a slightly more advanced technique to just add that little extra love to your videos. Now if we go back and play it.
We'll go this way
Oh,
first.
dude, I got a freaking. Oh my god.
Let's do this.
Oh. And this reminds me of D1 raids.
So that is stacking. So if you're a streamer, streams on Facebook, Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, whatever you like, and you've got a face cam or you do Let's Plays for YouTube, and you want to extend your content reach because you've got all this content and you want to put some of it on other platforms like TikTok or Instagram, you can see it's perfectly possible and it's not that complicated. I know some people see the vertical form factor to be a little constraining because you have to cut off the sides if you're keeping everything upright. But with stacking, it's perfectly possible to have some great content that can transfer over between TikTok and Instagram and such. You can keep your face, which is the prime reason that most people stream, and you can keep the gameplay. And with video editing, because now you have access to just extra windows that you can throw around, you can make sure that everything that you need to be, shown in the video can be shown. So run along. I hope you really enjoyed that. I hope that was entertaining. I hope that was helpful and extraordinarily educational. I really expect to see a lot more streaming content on Twitter and TikTok and Instagram from this point on. I really hope, because there's a lot of content that people make for YouTube and Twitch and whatnot that just isn't being utilized appropriately. And TikTok doesn't really care too much about DMCA stuff. So, I mean, if you have clips and you want to share them, TikTok's a great opportunity now. Just download them and delete them from Twitch with their recent debacles. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope you had a good time. Feel free to give me a like if you found this useful, helpful, or entertaining, and subscribe if you'd like to see more tutorials. This is an arts channel. Clearly I do tutorials on graphic things like visuals and video editing and probably After Effects at some point. It's kind of fun. But again, art. A lot of my videos are time lapses of my art. So if you find any of that interesting, or you just enjoy the sweet sound of my delicious voice, I've been told it's nice, I don't know, or you think I look like Jack Black, I mean, there's plenty of reasons. So clearly you can see that I stream. In the description down below will be a link to my Twitch. I stream all the time, and if I'm playing games, feel free to ask me questions about art. If I'm streaming art, feel free to ask me questions about games. Usually I find a way to maybe stream them both in a kind of clever way. I plan on making a tutorial on how to have that going for you, streaming art while also playing games. It's a little tricky, but it's not too bad. And there are some things that you require to have. But with creativity and perseverance, I'm sure you could figure out your own way to go about it to make it your own sort of signature style. Thank you again to my wonderful patrons. And here's a little clip of just some art that I'm doing while killing time in the game. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Nuke died.
Nuke, why, man?
Kayla's over here freaking drawing.
Hey, man. We just did this. I got some things I want to get,
I'm like, why is Gamma just standing still? I look down.